Our next step is to add the cheese that the mouse picks up in order to win. Now we're going to have to create this sprite because there's not one in here that's a little cheese wedge from the top. So when I go choose a sprite, I'm going to go up to the paint bar. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my outline from 50 to 5 because I am going to use the line tool here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to black. Now, I'm not going to leave it black, but I am just going to go ahead real quick and use my line tool to draw myself a cheese wedge. Now, if I want my things to connect, I have to click and hold and make the dots in order to enclose this. Now, what I'm going to do is after I've drawn it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the brightness all the way up, leave the saturation all the way up, and go over into kind of a yellow color. And that's 15, 100, 100. Perfect. So, what I didn't do is I didn't highlight my stuff. So, this random line I drew, we're going to make that go away. Drag a box around all those. Again, change my color to 100, 100, and the top color is 15. Nice if we could type this in, but since we can't, we'll just very carefully go to 15. There it is, and you can see in our live screen we're there as well. So if I'm going to go to then fill, I'm going to go to 15, 100, 100, and I'm going to fill the cheese in. It's a nice, bold yellow cheese. All right, so our next thing that we're going to do, I'm actually going to get the eraser tool, and I'm going to set the eraser tool to something like 50. What I want it to do is give me kind of big round pieces. That's not quite big enough. I'm going to try 80. Oh, the choice is over here. Sorry. I'm going to go with, if 40 was the size I was seeing, I'm going to go with 60. 60 should work okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just click to delete some spots. And it's going to look even better if you have it, some of them slightly hanging off, some of them just barely on. Not a lot of holes, but we're going to just kind of Swiss cheese this, even though it's yellow. And I'm going to need one like right there. All right. I'm going to kind of round that one off. There we go. Here's my little cheese shape. All right. Now, obviously, it's way too big. So I'm going to head over to code. I'm going to do my starting stack. We're going to start this right away when the green flag is clicked. We are going to make sure it shows. We are going to set the size to try 25%. Click on it. And maybe even less than that. Let's try 10%. Something like that should work. I can mess with that. Maybe 15, maybe 20 looks good. I'm going to throw 15 in there just for grids. So we got it showing. We've got our size set. And if you want to mess with having it come in at different angles, you can do that. One of the things I'm also going to want it to do is I'm going to set its position, but I'm on purpose going to leave that at the very end of my stack, and you'll see why in a few minutes. I also will let you know that we're going to need to use a variable to have it count up as we get our cheese. So if I go to my variables, I'm going to have to make a variable. I'm going to call it cheese. And to start with, we want cheese set to 0. Now, the other thing we want it to do is that we want it to do something. So as we have, as the green flag is clicked, we want to, actually instead of using forever, I'm going to use wait until, because this is only going to happen once. wait until, and then under sensing, I am programming on the cheese. So when I say touching mouse, I want to do a couple of things. I want the cheese to hide. Okay, so it looks like the cheese was eaten. So again, when touching mouse, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to hide. And the next thing it's going to do is it's going to change my variable. Change cheese by 1. So what that should do, as I pick my green flag, and as I move my mouse around, you can see I've got a little bit of a glitch here. I think part of that's those rounded corners. As I get it, you can see my cheese changes to 1 and it disappears. That's exactly what I want my cheese doing. Now I'm also going to set myself up for a few different things, because now as I redo that, my X and Y location shows up automatically in the go-to. So I'm going to put that there. I'm also going to set myself up because later on we're going to use messaging. So before I do anything else, I want to put 2 when I receive messages in, and I want both of them to tell the cheese to hide. Again, we will come back and set these up similarly, but those are very, very important. So now what will happen is that when it receives a certain message, it will hide. So right now it's there. And again, if I go get it, it will go away. So the reason I did this, and I'm going to actually go ahead and change the name to cheese 1. Seems to work better that way. The reason I did this exactly like I did is because I want to now duplicate it. So I'm going to right click on my cheese 1, duplicate, I get cheese 2. Cheese 2 is hanging out in the middle here. I'm going to actually bring this down and put it right there. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to take my go to XY off. I'm going to stop, start, and stop again. Go to motion, and you'll notice that now the go to XY position is my current location of that cheese. Just a little trick that I found. So now, as I click the green flag, those 2 cheeses are still there. And I can continue this with cheese 3. Again, pull the XY off, stop, start, stop, add the new go to XY, and I'm going to do this a 4th time so that I have the 4 different cheeses. And again, based on your maze, you can position them how you like. I'm going to take 4 off, stop, start, stop again, put the new go to XY in, and again, as I click the green flag, even though these guys reset, my cheeses are in the same spot. Now, the hard part is if you wanted to, you could have these go into random positions, but then sometimes they're overlapping walls. So there's a different way to do that we can go over in a future one, but we could set those up so they could appear randomly. But right now, that is the cheese setup. So in our next video, we're going to start to program it so that as we lose the game, if the cat gets us, everything disappears and we just see a clear game over screen.